Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will have session on 5G air interface part 2, and I'll try to cover three topics. The one is the frame structure in time domain. What is the radio frame structure of 5G in time domain? And what is new radio resource grid? There is a concept of resource grid which gets allocated to the users for carrying the traffic. And then what is the fine grain TDD and how data is scheduled. So these are the three broad topic which I'll try to cover. So let's just have a recap of the last session. So we talked about spectrum and bandwidth for 5G new radio. So we explained that 5G supports spectrum in all the three bands: low band, mid band, and also the high band, millimeter band. And we also discussed that in FR1 frequencies, which is kind of less than 1 gigahertz frequency, 100 megahertz bandwidth is supported, and in FR2 frequency range 2, 400 megahertz bandwidth is supported. The second thing which we learnt about the waveform, so we understood that how orthogonal frequency division multiplexing is used and how QAM modulation up to 256 modulation is used, that we had gone through. We also gone through the various numerology. When we say numerology, we are talking about sub-carrier spacing, how 15 kilohertz, 30 kilohertz, 60, 120 and 240 kilohertz sub-carrier spacings are used. And then we discussed about the resource block, concept of resource block. And then we discussed how, what is the relation between all these aspects. So we have already covered those. Today we will talk about the frame structure in time domain. So let's start. So I'll just explain here to all of you, and then we'll move forward. So there's a concept of frame, subframe, slot, and symbol. I'll explain it one by one. So when I say frame, so that's a kind of a time duration. In LTE also, the frame duration was 10 millisecond, and in 5G also the frame duration is 10 milliseconds. So let me just draw. So basically let this represent as a time of 10 millisecond. So this is your frame. This is your frame. So now the one frame will contain multiple subframes. So how many subframe 5G contains? So it will contain 10 subframe, and the numbering would be subframe 0, subframe 1, subframe 2, subframe 3, so on, and finally subframe 9. So I have 10 subframe of 1 millisecond each, because the frame size was 10 milliseconds. So my subframe size is 1 millisecond. Now every subframe, so let me draw a subframe. So suppose this is a subframe, that means this 1 millisecond I have expanded here. So let us consider this as a subframe of 1 millisecond. So this is 1 millisecond. Now the question is that how many slot I can have in one subframe. So it depends upon the numerology. Let me only talk about numerology 0, mu 0. Mu 0 means subcarrier spacing is 15 kilohertz. So for 15 kilohertz, one subframe is equal to one slot. One subframe is equal to one slot. So the entire this subframe is also a slot in case we have numerology 0. That means subcarrier spacing 15 kilohertz, then subframe size and slot size is same. Now the question is how many symbols I can have in one slot. So generally there are, in 5G there are 14 symbols. So how many symbols? 14. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on up to 13. So total 14 symbols are there in one slot. So this is the kind of a structure, frame structure in time domain of 5G. It is similar to 4G. In 4G also we had 10 millisecond frame, 1 millisecond subframe, and then we had a concept of half frame where 7 symbols will be there. So in effect, in 1 millisecond, you'll have 14 symbols. So as far as mu0 is concerned, it is almost similar to the LTE frame structure. But the difference comes when we have mu1, that is numerology 1, that means subcarrier spacing is equal to 30 kilohertz. So what happens is, in case of a mu1, I will have, suppose this is a subframe of 1 millisecond, right? This is 1 millisecond subframe. In case I am having mu1 or subcarrier spacing 30 kilohertz, then my slot duration will be half of 0.5 millisecond. 0.5 millisecond. So I have two slots, slot 0 and slot 1, each of half millisecond. That's the difference from numerology 0. And every slot will again have 14 symbols. So within 0.5 millisecond, I'll be able to pack 14 millisecond from 0, 1 up to 13. And again here 14. So now I have 14 plus 14, 28 symbols in 1 millisecond. In 1 millisecond or one subframe. So here I have 2 time slot of 0.5 millisecond. If you go to numerology 2, it will again double, means my slot size will become 0.25. If you go to numerology 3, it will again be, slot duration will be become half, and every slot will have 14 symbols. So what we are able to do, we are able to pack more data, double up the data from the previous numerology within the same time duration. But where is the change? Change is in the frequency, because there you had 15 kilohertz, here I have 30 kilohertz. So your frequency side we are doubling, in the time we are going half. So in a less time I am able to transmit more data. That is the basic concept. So now we will go into detail of it, and I'll request all of you to help me calculate all these aspects. Okay, so we discussed, just see this diagram. We just discussed that our frame duration is 10 millisecond. So it is written like this, that n.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, because you have mentioned that depending upon the view, you can accommodate more and more data.
Yes.
Because of time frame size. So this is a theoretical concept. What is the practical difficulty, sir, when we go less than suppose 0.5 milliseconds, sir? Up to what level we can divide into time domain, sir?
Yeah, you are right. So you can just see that in 5G we have numerology up to 4. I mean 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 numerology, right? So I will ask you to calculate in the coming slide that what becomes a slot duration for numerology 4 and what becomes the symbol duration for that, how small it is, right? So you can see here that my symbol size will be as low as 0.15 microsecond. And in that symbol, if you remember, let me ask, can somebody tell me what is symbol? When I am saying symbol, what I'm talking about? Can somebody just tell me broadly? Anyone? Either you can write in chat box or open your mic, or you say do not know in the chat box.
Sir, symbol represents a group of bits, sir. Like 0, 1, 1, 0 in terms of we can say data, sir.
Very right. So, very right.
Just it represents carrier, sir. In one carrier we can accommodate
right.
more bits.
Very right. So basically, if you look at OFDMA, so you have a subcarrier. So suppose you have one subcarrier, right, of say 15 kilohertz or whatever it is, and then you have a duration, that is the symbol duration. Say this is 0.15 millisecond, right? Let us assume this is 0.15 millisecond. For 0.15 millisecond, I have this particular subcarrier. Now when I say 0.15 millisecond, so within this duration, how much bit I can transfer, that depends upon the modulation. QAM modulation we might have, we learned last time, no? So suppose it is QAM 16, that means so this will carry symbol will be of 4 bit. So that means it can carry 4 bit. So in 0.15 millisecond, that is the symbol duration, one subcarrier modulated with QAM16 will have 4 bits. That is the, basic understanding, right? Suppose it was QAM 256, then it will contain 8 bit. So same subcarrier, same symbol duration, if QAM 256 is supported, I will have 8 bit of data. I'm able to pack more data with higher order modulation. So that's the symbol, right? Any doubt? Okay. So you can write in the chat box if you do not have doubt, yes, no, or whatever, so that I feel that you are able to understand. Okay, let's go forward. So the frame size, as I said, is 10 millisecond. This is shown here. And with every subframe duration is 1 millisecond. So this box is 1 millisecond from 0 to 9. And now this subframe, suppose you have multiple subframes, so now of 1 millisecond, so how many slots can be there? So there is a formula given, 1 millisecond divided by 2 to the power mu, 1 millisecond divided by 2 to the power mu. So basically so if it is numerology 0, it becomes 1, so 1 millisecond. As I explained, for 15 kilohertz, your subframe duration and slot duration is same, because mu is 0, means it is 1 millisecond. If suppose mu is 1, then 1 by 2, so that is 0.5, that we did calculation. If mu is 2, then 1 by 4, 0.25, and so on. So basically your slot durations is becoming half and half if you move higher in the numerology, right? So that is the formula, and otherwise also you can calculate. And every slot, please remember, every slot will have, let us 14 symbols. Every slot, that slot can be of 1 millisecond, can be of half millisecond, can be 0.25, and so on, depending upon which numerology I am using. But it will have 14 symbols. In some cases, I will explain later that you have 12 symbols only, but let us, for time being, for simplicity, assume that there are 14 symbols. So I hope everyone has understood. So basically, when you have to calculate this, so symbol duration, that means you have to, so how you calculate symbol duration? So as I said that suppose in 1 millisecond, I have 14 symbols, right? So 1 millisecond, if you divide by 14, you have a symbol duration, right? You will get a symbol duration. But if it is numerology 2, then this 1 millisecond become half. So that's why this formula, 1 millisecond divided by 2 to the power mu into 14. If mu is 0, that means it is 14. If mu is 1, then it becomes 28. If mu is 2, it becomes 28 into 2, 56. So that way your symbol duration goes on increasing. It starts with 0.15 microsecond and maximum minimum will be 0.15 microsecond and maximum will be 4.7 microsecond. I hope it is clear to all of you. Any doubt?
So can you repeat the symbol duration or symbol time which you just told?
Okay, let me clear the ink so that I'm able to write again.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah,
So
please.
this is in time domain. What is the frequency representation of this symbol duration on?
And that we will show you how it looks in frequency domain. So frequency
Okay.
domain is nothing but subcarriers or the RBs, right? And I explained you that if there is one symbol, that means it's one subcarrier for one symbol duration, right? So if you have say 288 subcarriers, so 288 subcarriers together in one one symbol durations, it will carry certain data, right? We will do that calculation. Rather, I'll ask you to do the calculation. So for simplicity, let me just explain that your symbol is of 10 millisecond. Sorry, your frame, not symbol. Your frame is of 10 millisecond. your subframe is 1 millisecond, and this is common for all numerology. After that, slot will be either 1 millisecond or zero point 0.5 or 0.25 and so on, half, depending upon numerology. For numerology 0 this one, for 1 this, for 2 this, and so on. Or your symbol will be 14 per slot. Symbol will be 14 per slot. Is this clear, or do I need to repeat this? Arya sir has raised the hand, sir.
No, the relationship between frame, subframe, slot, and symbol is absolutely clear.
Okay.
The relationship with QAM, no, QAM is not clear. How does QAM come into play for the frames? If you repeat that, it will help.
Okay, good. So basically, I mean, your QAM will come here in the symbol duration, right? The relation of the QAM is here because when you transmit data using orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, we are kind of modulating subcarriers, right, with your data. So for example, let me take a small example. Suppose you are using QAM 16. So QAM 16, if you remember that constellation diagram, there are 16 states where phase and amplitude are unique there. So every point or every particular wave with certain phase and certain modulation will represent 4 bit of data. But if a particular subcarrier is having a unique or specific set of phase and amplitude, it will represent 4 bit because I am using the QAM 16. There are 16 such points in the constellation diagram. So what will happen, I'll have whatever data is coming in serial, I'll convert that into 4 bit separately. So one 4 bit data will be modulated on one subcarrier for one symbol duration of whatever, I mean, you have symbol duration, right? And this will go as a symbol, right? During that symbol duration, with one subcarrier, 4 bit will be transmitted. Am I clear, sir, now? Sir, your mic is mute.
No, I'm nodding, so it is yes. I didn't want to interrupt everybody.
Okay, so anyway, we will repeat this again and again in the upcoming slide. So I'll try to make it clear to every one of you. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, same thing in a kind of a graphically represented how those slot size is getting reduced. So here also you have this is your frame of 10 millisecond having 10 subframe 0 to 9, and one subframe of 1 millisecond will have 14 symbols. But when you go in 30 kilohertz, your slot size decreases half. So these 14 symbols will come in this duration itself. So 14 and 14. If you go to numerology with SCS 60 kilohertz, then again half. So you have 14, 14, 14, 14. This much symbols in the same 1 millisecond. If you go to 120 kilohertz, now you have 14 symbol here, 14 here, and so on up to here. So your number of symbols are increasing. That means you are able to transmit more and more data within less time, or within the same time you are doubling the data if you are using higher subcarrier spacing. From if you are moving 15 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz, the slot duration is becoming half, so you are able to pack double the data. Okay, now let's, whatever we have understood so far, now it's your time to tell me and fill up this particular table. It will make you clear, those who are not yet clear. So please open your chat box and answer. So first is for 15 kilohertz, how many slots per subframe? So subframe size was 1 millisecond. Somebody should answer me in the chat box or in the mic that how many slot I will have in 15 kilohertz.
10.
So I think that 1 is the right answer. Deepika has answered because the slot size is equal to the subframe size for 15 kilohertz, right? So now somebody should tell me in 30 kilohertz how many slot I'll have in 1 millisecond. Yeah. Come on. Nilima ma'am has said 2. Swati has said, Deepika 2. Everyone is saying 2 because your slot size will become half. 60 kilohertz. Just write it down quickly.
4.
Yes, 4. 120,
8.
8, and 240,
16.
16. Great. So your slot number of slots are doubling and doubling when you go higher in the numerology. Now just calculate how many symbols per subframe.
14.
So here 14, and in 30 kilohertz how much it will be there?
28.
Swati, it's not 16, it is 14. 16.
20.
Salendraji, it's not 16.
28.
28. 30 kilohertz is 28. 60, somebody should tell me quickly.
56.
Great,
56.
great. 120,
112.
112, and 240,
224.
2 to 4. Now same thing with frame. So how many slot per frame of 15 kilohertz? How many slot I'll have? So there was
10.
1 in 1 millisecond. In 10 millisecond how much?
10.
10.
10.
In 30 kilohertz how much?
20.
Yes. And in 60?
40.
Yes. Then the
80.
next
160.
80, 160. It appears to be very simple to you. Now symbol per frame in 10 millisecond, how many symbol I have? 14 I had in 1 millisecond. 140,
140.
then
280.
then
218.
560.
right,
560.
then
120.
then
2240.
okay. So great, every one of you were able to calculate how frame, subframe, slot will be there in 1 millisecond and in 10 millisecond. Frame and subframe. Very nice. So let's now, for each subcarrier, let us calculate along with you so that everyone is clear. So what is the frame duration of 15 kilohertz when I use 15 kilohertz subcarrier? It was 10 millisecond, right? Subframe duration, just quickly,
Millisecond.
1 millisecond. How many slots?
1.
1. What is the slot duration?
1 millisecond.
1 millisecond. How much slot?
40.
How many symbols per slot? 14.
14.
And in subframe how much?
140.
Pardon?
14.
Same 14. Yes, because it's. And then per symbol how much? 140, right? Very nice, very nice, very nice. For 30 kilohertz, just tell me quickly so that we finish it.
Duration is 10 milliseconds. 10.
How many slots?
2.
2. What is the slot duration?
0.5.
0.5 milliseconds.
And how many symbols? It is always 14.
48.
Symbol per subframe?
28.
28.
28.
And per frame? 280. Great.
280.
Right. Now, I hope you are able to see Venn diagram which explains. So here also your frame is 10 millisecond, your subframe is 1 millisecond. And how many slots now? 4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. And how many? So slot duration has become again half, 0.25 millisecond.
0.20.
And then how many symbols per slot? It is always 14.
14.
And here how much it will come? There are 4. 14 into 4. How much?
56.
56. Right. Great. So I explained earlier that in some cases we use 12 symbol, which we will discuss later. Now let's go to 120. What is, let us straight away go to the slots per subframe. How many slots? 1, 2, 3, 8. Slot duration becomes again half, 0.125 millisecond. Symbols are same per slot. So how many in subframe? 8 into 14. How much it is?
112.
Right. And in frame it is 1120. Great.
20.
Right. So I hope, you can calculate, and now you have understood why I took slightly bigger time, because everybody should be able to understand this. basically if you read the specification document to understand this, it is very very complex, so it takes a lot of time to understand the way it's written there. So I thought I'll make it simple and explain to all of you. So this is the summary of all whatever I explained in terms of numerology. What is the subcarrier spacing, what is the slot duration, and then how many slots you have in subframe and how many symbols you have in subframe. So it's there in the slide, you can go through. Okay, so visually these also we explained that how slot size is decreasing. So let us one thing which I would like to explain again, that if you look at 15 kilohertz subcarrier spacing, so you had 1 millisecond slot, and but your frequency was 15 kilohertz only, so your bandwidth was less. If you calculate bandwidth of a RB, it will be 180 kilohertz. But in 30 kilohertz, your symbol size has become half, but your bandwidth has become double. So basically, you are increasing the bandwidth of a subcarrier, but decreasing time, and that's why you are able to pack more and more data in the same time, because so it's one side we are reducing, one side we are increasing. That's why we are able to pack the more and more data in a particular 1 millisecond. This also answers some of the questions that with numerology will be able to kind of offer more data in less time. So just think of latency, that a particular byte of data can be transferred. Murli sir, can you mute your mic so that others are not disturbed? Yeah, thank you. So that's the concept. Visually, if you see that here you have 14 symbol in 1 millisecond, here you have 14 symbol in 0.5 millisecond, here you have 14 symbol in 0.25 millisecond, and so on. So just a visual representation how it looks like.
That means symbol rate, irrespective of the subcarrier, it will fixed as 14.
Yeah, number of symbols in a slot is fixed as 14. You're right.
Or even further as it goes.
Up to 240, yeah. I mean, so numerology as in today is up to 4 only. May I request if you can mute the mic? Okay. The once we have understood this, let us go through the resource grid. What is the concept of resource grid in 5G? Okay. So basically, when we are talking about resource grid, I'll just first draw something, try to explain, and then. So let us have, suppose I am using 15 kilohertz subcarrier. So let us use, in this direction it is time, so I'll represent symbols. So maybe I have 14 symbols. So symbol 0, 1, 2 and up to 13 in this direction. In this direction, let me represent those subcarriers. So I have first subcarrier, then I have second subcarrier, then I have third subcarrier, and finally I have subcarrier n, whatever is available depending upon how much bandwidth. Suppose I have say 5 megahertz bandwidth, so you can divide by minus guard band, divide by 15, so number of subcarrier will come. So on this direction I have frequency, that is subcarrier 0 to n. In this direction I have time, that is symbol 0, symbol 1. So this basically is called grid. This is a resource grid, right? So in 1 millisecond, which is slot duration in case of numerology 0, and then all those frequencies, this is the resource grid. So basically, when I say resource grid, what happens is some part of it can be allocated to one user, some part of it can be allocated to other user. When I say some of the symbols and some of the subcarriers are allocated to our users, when many users are there in a cell and they are trying to access the network, so they will be allocated resources out of this resource grid, and every slot duration scheduling happens. When I say scheduling, that every 1 millisecond, in case of numerology 0, Generally, I am saying there are exception also. Every millisecond, suppose somebody has kind of want to use data or want to push some data. So what happens is that when it comes to the network, it's not that straightforward that I allocate resources. Suppose this all those resource grids are already given to some other user. So in the next 1 millisecond, that is next 1 millisecond time, which is my slot duration, I will allocate this user some of the resources, and it will keep on moving because every millisecond I will kind of schedule traffic for different users. So that is the concept of resource grid. Let me remove the ink and then move forward. Right. So what is resource grid? Definition is one subframe in time domain. So example I gave was 15 kilohertz. So my slot size and my subframe was same 1 millisecond, but the definition is one subframe in time domain. One subframe means it's always 1 millisecond, right? Whereas scheduling happens slot wise. And full carrier bandwidth in frequency domain. Whatever number of subcarrier I have, so that is what. So I drawn that table, grids like this. So this is your 1 millisecond. So you can have either 14 symbols or 28 symbols or 56 symbols be calculated depending upon numerology. And I'll have number of subcarrier depending upon how much bandwidth I have, right? So either minimum I need to have 24 RBs, if you recall last lecture, 24 RBs, that is 24 into 12 subcarriers, or say 275 RBs in case of FR1 frequencies. So that much number of subcarriers I will be having, and this is my resource grid. May I request every one of you to kindly keep your mic in mute. May I request, there is a noise coming, to mute your mic please. Can somebody, okay, thank you. Let me move forward. And these resource grids are like, for uplink there will be a separate resource grid, for downlink there will be a separate resource grid. If you have multiple transmission, then every transmission will have its own resource grid. If you are using different numerology, then again you will have a separate resource grid onto the network. Every antenna port will have a separate kind of resource grid. So that's the concept of resource grid in 5G. I'll just break for any question and then I'll move forward. Either you can write in chat box or you can open your mic and ask your question if you have any doubt.
But can you repeat for the scheduling thing which you just told, sir, the previous slide?
Okay,
Scheduling.
so every scheduling is what? Allocation of resources to a user, right? So first of all, let us understand what is the periodicity of scheduling. So that is your slot duration. Your slot duration is the scheduling time. And let me take example, because slots are variable depending upon numerology. If you take 15 kilohertz, then my slot duration is 1 millisecond. So every 1 millisecond, I will do the allocation of resources for 1 millisecond period of time. So when a resource is allocated, for minimum duration, it will be 1 millisecond. During that 1 millisecond, number of subcarrier and number of symbols will be allocated to users depending upon what service he is trying to access. If there are other users coming in between, they have to wait till start of the next time slot, and in that time slot, resources will be allocated to any new user who want to take, upload or download data. Is that okay?
This resource block is a variable function here for a single user, or it can be or it has to be the same.
So resource grid is standard. Now out of the resource grid, how much resource is allocated to me? When I say resource, it is number of symbols and number of subcarriers. in a 1 millisecond duration, right? So every 1 millisecond it will be changed. Suppose after 1 millisecond I want to have more data, then I may be allocated more resource. If I have finished, then my resources will be taken away or reduced. So every 1 millisecond scheduling will happen, that which user will require how much data.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, great. There's one
Sir,
question.
how it is different from 4G?
So difference from 4G, allocation is similar, right? Allocation is similar. In uplink side, there is a difference which we will discuss later, because there, I mean, a user uses the full bandwidth. Complete 20 megahertz is used by an user for a particular moment of time, wherein uh, that is called SC OFDMA. We'll discuss about that. Let us not be confused by that. The difference, main difference is that here the resource grid is completely different, because your slot duration is variable, right? So you have more and more slot. So basically 15 kilohertz, that is numerology 0 resource grid, you can consider as same as LTE resource grid. But beyond 15 kilohertz, my resource grid in 5G is different from 4G. That's the answer. There is a question by Kiran Wadhwa whether for the entire session those resources will be there. Answer is that depending upon the requirement, right? So suppose during the entire session, if an user requires that much resources, yes. If doesn't require, then no. So answer is yes and no both. Shall I proceed?
Sir, resource grid mean for a given antenna port means the data capacity per antenna port, sir.
So basically you may recall that there will be multiple transmission layers, right? There will be many beams, right? So for every and those antenna ports will be used to transmit those beams, or you can have multiple layer of transmission, right, on different frequency band and all. So every antenna port, whatever signal is getting transmitted for a set of users, will have a unique resource grid, right? It's natural, right?
Ashok ji,
Yes, sir.
well, my question may not be exactly relevant to this session, but somewhat linked to this. In a conventional switch system or a transmission system, to realize our concepts like whatever kilohertz or bandwidth, etc., there used to be physical components like oscillators or so many other generators, etc., to derive particular frequency or a particular right. Going forward with the software-defined network, how these things are realized and to how precisely this the level of micro milliseconds and all we are able to achieve.
Yeah, so basically I tried to explain this in my previous slide, where here we use OFDMA. It's a digital modulation technique kind of. So basically when you are trying to modulate a subcarrier, so basically so theoretically in an analog way, you have a specific phase and a specific amplitude of that subcarrier carrying a certain number of bits. So but it is not in an analog way that is done. It is completely digital, in the sense that for every point in that constellation diagram, it's a digital value, which if that so if that value is created for the entire incoming data, and that is put into the DSP, digital signal processing, using the concept of inverse of Fourier fast transform algorithm. So it creates a kind of it basically adds all the subcarriers and create a single wave which can be transmitted onto the air. So I had given a link also, that if you want to read how it happens, there's a very good article that is there in my slide. If you just try to click that link, you will be able to read that particular article on that. That's why I had given.
Basically, DSP, digital signal processing is the
Yeah, yeah, you are right. You are right. Yes, yes.
right. Okay.
Okay, now, yeah.
Sir, ultimately there will be power amplifier. whether you're doing analog modulation or digital modulation, which will amplify and
Yeah. At the antenna port, you have that. So basically, you amplify and transmit depending upon how much power you have to do it. That's the end one. Okay, now I actually tried and draw a resource grid with some example. You can also try. I did this in Excel, and then I taken a picture and done this. So I have taken 5 megahertz band and 15 kilohertz subcarrier spacing. So I had explained you that 5 megahertz you have to reduce certain uh, subcarrier, guard band, which is about 250 kilohertz, right? That table was there in my slide. And then if you divide by 15, so you will get about 288 subcarriers, right? And if you divide this 288 by 12, you will get 24 RB. Why I have taken 24 RB? But as per specification, minimum number of RB required for a 5G new radio is 24. So that means 5 megahertz is the minimum bandwidth which can be used. So if you draw this, how can you draw your resource grid? So if you see, I have drawn on this axis. On this axis, I have one subframe, 1 millisecond. Just see. One subframe of 1 millisecond I have taken on this axis. This is a time axis. And since I am using 15 kilohertz, so how many symbols I can have in 1 millisecond? Can somebody tell me on the chat box or mic? In 15 kilohertz, that is numerology 0. Yes, 14. So you can just see I have such 14 boxes on the vertical side from 0 to 13. So these are nothing but symbols on this axis, right? Onto this axis, I have plotted all the subcarriers, starting from subcarrier 0, 1, dash, 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 up to 287. So total 288 subcarrier. So this is a real kind of a resource grid. When I have 15 megahertz band, I am using 15 kilohertz subcarrier spacing. So this is a kind of your resource grid. So this resource grid itself is allocated to the users, right? If suppose a user is kind of have heavy download, so then maybe a large number of symbols and large number of subcarriers can be allocated to user 1, right? Maybe some other user will not require much data, so user 2 is allocated this, user 3 may be allocated this. So that way different users are allocated resources in uplink and downlink direction. Hope this is clear. There is another example which I have for you is, again I have taken now 30 kilohertz. So I have 10 megahertz band, but now I have 30 kilohertz subcarrier spacing. That means mu is equal to 1. So with mu is equal to 1, what is my slot duration? Who remembers that? 0.5 millisecond. But in grid, I have 1 millisecond, right? Grid size is always 1 millisecond, one subframe. So how many slot I'll have? 2. Then how many symbols I can have? 28. So now I have 28 symbols. Just see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 27. So this is also have drawn in Excel for you. Okay. So and in time, in frequency domain, somebody was asking how it looks like in frequency domain. I hope that question is getting answered. In frequency domain, here again I'll have 288 subcarrier, all because if you divide 10 megahertz minus guard band divided by 30, it is 288 and it will be 24 RB, right? So that's why I have taken 0 to 287 numbers. So every box is one symbol, one subcarrier. Just remember, every box is nothing but one subcarrier for one symbol duration. Just understand, every box is one subcarrier for one symbol duration. So let me ask you a question that suppose I am using QAM 256 right? So this box can contain how many bits?
8.
2 to the power
8.
8 bits. Great. So every box can contain 8 bits. So somebody can calculate that how many bits I have. This matrix is 288 into 30. 288 into 30. And every box will contain 8. Can somebody calculate how much it will come? So that much, can somebody calculate? So that is in 1 millisecond with 288.
69,120.
So in megabit or some bit, can you tell me? Yeah, no problem. So that
69.12 KB.
so that's a rough idea, right, of how data gets kind of.
Sir,
So,
the symbol is 20.
Ashokji,
Yeah.
in terms of other way of explanation, one resource block is equal to what? Can you?
So one resource block is
other way?
what? So basically, suppose you have one RB, right? So one RB means 12 subcarrier, right, sir? But this 12 subcarrier, for how many duration you want to carry the data? One symbol duration or 14 symbol duration or 30 symbol duration? Let us assume one symbol duration, right? One symbol duration, or let us take the complete one subframe. So I have 14 symbols, right? So 12 subcarrier into 14 symbols. So that much, and every symbol will contain whatever number of bits. Is that okay? Can you calculate? It's very straightforward, sir. Okay, so let me explain you the concept of resource element. What is RE? So as I explained, this every box is a resource element. Onto a resource grid, every box is a resource element. What is this? Definition is smallest physical resource in new radio. It consists of one subcarrier during one OFDM symbol. One subcarrier during one OFDM symbol duration. And then you can, I mean, this is a grid you can define with K and L, right? So the K will represent frequency number and L will represent your symbol. Suppose if I just put this, K is nothing but frequency, that is the 7th subcarrier, and L is your symbol, so it is the 3rd symbol. So 7, 3. So that's why you can represent every resource element, right? So I hope I was able to explain the resource grid, resource element, and how that can be addressed. Okay, so this diagram I have taken from somebody else. It is explaining the same, wherein I have one symbol duration, it's a generic diagram, 1 millisecond subframe, and it is shown that how many symbol can it have? It can have 14 symbols or 28 symbols or 56 and so on, because depending upon the numerology, I gave you the example of 15 and 30. Similarly, that's why it is dot dot, right? In the frequency side, you have all those frequencies starting from 0 to, depending upon how much bandwidth. For 5 megahertz we had calculated 288. So depending upon how much bandwidth you have and which numerology you are having, you will have number of subcarriers. That's why it is dot dot given. That means it will depend upon the bandwidth. So dependency is bandwidth, then numerology. These two are dependency of how many symbols I can have, how many subcarriers I can have. And as you recall, one resource block is always 12 contiguous subcarrier, which is explained here. and resource element is represented by K and L. K is the subcarrier number, L is the symbol number. Okay, somebody is asking any question? Sandeep sir, you are asking every block is what? Every block is one subcarrier in one symbol duration. I hope I am able to answer you, sir.
Ashwin, can you go back to previous slide?
This one or
Reverse to this one.
this one?
You kindly extend L. I didn't get L.
So basically K and L, K is your subcarrier and this is symbol. So suppose this is the box. So subcarrier is here. So it is 7 subcarrier and it is third symbol. Is this okay, sir?
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how will this composite waveform look like? Suppose I am an operator, I have a frequency on 700 megahertz. Let us assume like that. And it's 10 megahertz related to me, 700 to 710 megahertz. So, it is divided into subcarriers. So, what is transmitted in the air will be having the carrier frequency of this thing, 700 to 710 megahertz, right, no, sir? So, it will be available as a composite waveform to all the users in the particular cell area. Am I right, sir?
Yeah. Yes. You are right. But
Okay.
sales are informed that their data is where. In this grade, they will know that their data where they have to look for. Once they are able to synchronize, they will be able to look for their data because that is already told to them during the initial exchange of signaling information, right?
Okay. Right. Thanks.
Okay, let's look at how scheduling happens and what are the different ways. So 5G new radio is supposed to be very flexible. In 4G's, allocation of resources were fixed. There was certain criteria that how it will be kind of allocated, how many resources will be allocated. There was certain table. In 5G, it is much more flexible compared to 4G. So, for example, if you have a download heavy transmission, maybe you are looking at YouTube video or some streaming service, downloading something. At that point of time, as I said, every slot scheduling happens or resources are allocated. So I had actually switched on the recording from starting. It says that it has started again. So maybe somebody stopped and started again. Please don't play with, otherwise recording may not be available for you all guys. All of you have kind of empowered to start a recording or stop a recording. But if you stop a recording, in between it will be not available for you guys. So please don't do that. Somebody has started it again. So please don't do that. Okay, so suppose it's a slot duration. This could be either 1 millisecond or half a millisecond or 0.25 or 125 microsecond. Within that slot duration, if suppose user may be allocated maximum number of symbols for downlink and few for uplink. If it is a upload heavy transmission, then maybe majority of the symbols in a slot is for uplink and for downlink some small number. So there are concept of anybody understand LBT? Can somebody tell me what is LBT transmission?
Sir, listen before talk.
Yeah. So in our Wi-Fi, when multiple devices are there, before they actually transmit, they listen into the air because the common air interface, same air interface they use, and there's a chances of collision. So they listen before transmitting it. So as we had, there is a noise coming from some of you. Can you mute your mic, please? Yeah. So 5G is also supposed to operate in unlicensed band, wherein suppose same band as Wi-Fi can also be used. So that means in that band Wi-Fi will also be operating and 5G new radio will also be operating. So now the 5G new radio must have capability of LBT, listen before transmit, right? So in case that kind of uses are there, then your downlink may not start at symbol 0, because at that point of time maybe some other transmissions are going on. So there is a concept of late transmission, variable start. So that is also supported in 5G. It will start at say symbol 1 or symbol 2, right? And then that is slot based scheduling. So now there is also concept of mini slot in 5G, specially designed for low latency communication. So let me explain you how it affects. So basically what happens that, as I said, in 15 kilohertz, every 1 millisecond is the slot duration, and allocation happens every 1 millisecond, right? So suppose a new user has come with some data and it has to be allocated resource. He has to wait for this 1 millisecond before that service is allocated something, right? So maximum 1 millisecond delay is already happened, and we are looking at latency of 1 millisecond, right? So that will create a problem. So to take care of that, they have a concept of mini slot, which can even start in between of a ongoing slot. In between, generally, scheduling happens every slot duration, but if it is a low latency transmission, you can puncture in between and data can be transmitted. So that is a concept of mini slot is also supported. And then there is a concept of slot aggregation. That means you can allocate resources even for the next slot. Multiple slot allocation can happen. So continuously for 2 slots, you have allocated resources for downlink. So in case of a downlink heavy transmission, basically example is enhanced mobile broadband. Say you are downloading a very big movie file. So this concept may also come. So heavy transmission in downlink, and also the below diagram is shown for uplink. You may not be able to see completely, perhaps it's overflowing. So that is a concept of fine grained TDD. Okay, I just have one more slide. So concept of mini slot, I have already explained you that what happens if a data is coming, suppose it arrives at a place where slot has already started. I will not wait for next slot to come, but I can allocate the mini slot, right? So that I have good latency. But this cannot be used for EMBB. It is used for only low latency communication, right? So that means the data carried will not be much, but latency is the important requirement. So they have talked about it can be allocated either 2 symbol or 4 symbols or 7 symbols only. In case of EMBB, you can allocate the entire symbols or even 2 slots, you can do that. So this is a non-slot based scheduling, and it is so basically kind of a minimum scheduling unit in 5G new radio as of now. I hope you have understood. So with this, what is the use cases of mini slot? I explained URLLC is the one example, and then you can have different UE can be given, used this concept. This is also used in, we call it dynamic spectrum sharing. When I'll take session, I'll explain you how this concept of uh, mini slot is come to an advantage when you use dynamic spectrum sharing with 4G. I'll explain while take that session. And uh, it is also used for unlicensed spectrum operation. Since this came during release 15 itself, so they called it forward compatibility. In release 16 and 17, the support of unlicensed band is coming, and that will be used. So with this, I have for today I have completed my presentation, and I think I'm on right time, so I can take few questions if you have.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask a question.
I think
Yeah, there is a question by Kiran Vadhava. Let me answer. So during the, so they have realized that how much data is required actually in a low latency kind of services. So there also there is a concept of, how much data in a particular time duration has to be, transmitted with guarantee. So with that concept, they have come out, they have understood that symbol duration of 2, 4 and 7 is good enough, and that is written in the standard itself. So operators are not deciding, but it is the standard which has done. So there is a question of 12 sub carrier. Why only 12 sub carrier? That is also, that is for convenience, because somewhere you have to have a single unit of something, because here your slot duration is variable, number of symbols are variables, number of sub carriers are variable because of the bandwidth. So to come to a standard value which can be applied, otherwise you'll have a infinite number of permutation combination of everything. So in the standard itself they have defined 12 contiguous sub carrier as a RB. That was there even in 4G. So that's why 12 sub carrier. Any more question?
Sir, how in a unlicensed band
Yeah, go ahead.
sir,
Ask
how
you.
in a unlicensed band the Wi-Fi proved to hindrance the 5G network, sir?
So how Wi-Fi works today also, it listens before transmit. Suppose you have 5 devices connected to the same Wi-Fi hotspot. So or you may be having more than one Wi-Fi. Suppose you have Wi-Fi coming from your mobile as a hotspot, and you also have a broadband service, and you have a Wi-Fi. So the way they have designed is that when somebody is transmitting onto the air, it listens if on the same frequency band some other transmissions are going on. So whenever nobody is transmitting, that device transmits. So it is called listen before transmit. So in 5G also, when it will operate on unlicensed band, it will use the same technology of listen before transmit, so that collisions are avoided.
Yeah, Ashokji.
Yeah.
Similar to 247 mini slots, is there any other for any other purpose, any other attributes different slots have been allocated?
No, it's not symbol number 2 or symbol number 4 or symbol number 7. It's number of symbols, sir. So 2 symbols. So when I say
Symbol.
2 symbols will be located to the user in that time slot.
2 symbols.
2 symbols, right?
Okay.
Or 4 symbols or 7 symbols. So they have 3 kind of that. It's not where to start, it is how many symbols, because you can puncture at any location and allocate 2 symbols or 4 symbols or 7 symbols, whatever is the requirement and whatever is the availability. Suppose if it is coming at almost at the end, so you may allocate only 2 symbols, right?
Yeah, in case of the massive missions and all, any such similar logic is applied? Like this is for latency.
No, massive machine type communication is a relaxed communication, so it's not critical for them, because only periodic data will come. So wherever you allocate doesn't really matter for it, right? So they will not puncture it, they will be doing the normal scheduling. So only in case of URLLC, and perhaps they'll create a separate slice for that, because a lot of processing will be required for URLLC and apply that concept.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, is this frame structure is used in the 5G trials happening nowadays in
Ye-
non-standalones?
Yes, has to be used. There is no other way. The air interface of 5G has to be used in any trial, lab, or commercial network. So there is no other way one can operate 5G, right? That's the critical air interface which has to be there. The only thing is that they can use 15 kilohertz or 30 kilohertz subcarrier spacing, or which band they are using. So out of the whole schema, one or two schema they may be using. They may not be using everything together, right? So you might have heard that Jio has achieved 1 Gbps speed. Airtel has also achieved, and Vodafone yesterday there was in news that they have achieved 3 Gbps speed, right? So depending upon how much spectrum they are using, which sub-carrier spacing they are using, right? So they will be able to achieve those speed. Any more question, or shall we stop it for today? So if no more questions, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for listening to me. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ashok.